founder of 10xcodedkids.com, and today we are gonna be doing class 8 science chapter number 2, microorganisms, friend and foe. So let's just get started. Okay, so I'm gonna do the screen here. Alright, so what I want you to is understand properly, okay, very properly without any distraction. Look at the board and understand. Do you get it? Alright, let's start. Microorganisms is made up of two words, micro, which means extremely small, and organisms, which means living things. So microorganisms are extremely small living things. Okay? Is that much clear? Microorganisms are extremely small living things. Microorganisms are also known as microbes. Also known as microbes. Okay? All the spellings are written. Now, because these microorganisms are so small that you cannot see them from your naked eye. It is not visible from our eye. No, it's not visible, alright? So that is why to see these extremely small microorganisms, we use a microscope. Microscope is a device. Microscope is a device and a magnifying glass to see these extremely small microorganisms. Okay? Alright, is this much clear, everyone? So basically till now what have we done? Microorganisms are the extremely small living things which cannot be seen by our naked eye, because of which we use a device known as microscope to see these extremely small microorganisms. We also use a magnifying glass because it is not visible from our naked eye. Is that clear? Microorganisms are also known as microbes. Clear? Great. Okay, so now microorganisms are categorized in 4 different parts. Okay, so first is algae. It is like categorized into 4 different parts. So first is algae, then bacteria, fungus and protozoa. There are 4 categories of microorganisms: algae, bacteria, fungus and protozoa. Alright, algae, bacteria, fungus and protozoa. Now I'll just tell you a very short note about all of these microorganisms, and then in detail we are gonna understand all. Okay, so first of all we have algae. What do we have? We have algae. So now algae is a green patch. It's like aquatic in nature. Algae is aquatic in nature. Algae is aquatic in nature. Wait, where should I write this? Okay. Once again. Aquatic. Algae is aquatic in nature. Aquatic in nature. It is basically found near ponds. Like, wherever there are rivers and ponds, close to them there are some greenish substances. Those are algae. Now, why are they green? They are green because they contain chlorophyll. What do they contain? They contain chlorophyll. Algae is a microbe which contains chlorophyll and is aquatic in nature, found very close to the rivers and ponds. Understood? Clear? Great. Next we have bacteria. Now after hearing the word bacteria, all you must be thinking are disease and oof, so nasty, I understand. But no, bacteria have their advantages as well. How? In the conversion of milk to curd, a bacteria known as lactobacillus is used to convert milk into curd. Next, rhizobium. Rhizobium is used for nitrogen fixation for plants. Okay, so bacteria are not only harmful but also friendly. How are bacteria harmful? Because they create diseases. Alright. So next up we have fungus. Fungus is basically present in the atmosphere everywhere, and it grows at anything. It can grow on anything, anything, if it finds favorable conditions. And which conditions are those? Warm and moist conditions. Example of fungus, we all know bread mold. Example of fungus is bread mold. Example of fungus, bread mold. Alright. Last is protozoa. So protozoa is also aquatic in nature and is found, like protozoa's example is amoeba. Protozoa is very is also found in ponds and everything, like amoeba. We all know that, right? So that is an example of protozoa. Don't worry, I am just giving a short note right now. So we are going to understand each in detail later. So till now, what have we understood? We know that listen carefully, everyone. Microorganisms is a word made up of two words, micro, which means extremely small, and organisms, which means living things. So microorganisms are extremely small living things, which are also known as microbes. These are so small that cannot be seen by our eye. That is why we used a device known as microscope to see these microorganisms. We also use a magnifying glass. The four categories in which microorganisms are divided are algae, bacteria, fungus, and protozoa. Algae is aquatic in nature. Bacteria are not only harmful but also friendly. For example, lactobacillus, which helps in the conversion of milk into curd, but are also harmful because they create diseases. Then we have fungus, which also, as we all know, bread mold. It starts growing anywhere it finds like warm and moist conditions. And then protozoa is also aquatic in nature. Another example of protozoa is amoeba. Clear, perfect. Next up, we come to virus. This part is already done, okay? Also, please take a note of all of this. Take a note of all of this. Take a screenshot, guys. Okay, great. Now, virus. Virus is the smallest microbe. So, virus is the smallest. It is the smallest of all of these microorganisms. It's smaller than bacteria, algae, fungus, protozoa. It's smallest. It's so small. It is the smallest microbe. Well, if I say it's a microbe, then you might be thinking that shouldn't it be categorized in microbes, in the category of microbes? Shouldn't it come in the category of microbes? No, because this term is not actually correct. We cannot use the term microbe for virus. Now why? Let me read. Okay. It comes on the borderline of living and non-living things. This is the borderline, living, non-living things. It comes over here, right in the middle. Now why so? Why so? Because when it is in the atmosphere, when virus is in the atmosphere, basically this is the atmosphere, when virus is in the atmosphere, it behaves like non-living organism. As soon as it enters a host body cell, it starts reproducing and spreads rapidly. So understood? I'll explain you. Basically, it's in the atmosphere. It's everywhere. Virus is everywhere. Until and unless it's in the atmosphere, it will just stay as a part of the atmosphere, like dust. Dust is always in the atmosphere. It's just non-living. Dust is non-living, right? Similarly, virus, when it's in the atmosphere, it is a non-living thing. As soon as it gets a host body, it could be an animal, plant, another organism, microorganism, or human beings as well. As soon as it enters a body, a host body, it gets a host body cell, it starts reproducing, and reproduction is a process that is followed and is done by living organisms, right? So when this virus starts reproducing, it's doing a living thing work, right? Because of which it is now a living thing. As soon as it enters your host body, starts reproducing, it becomes a living organism. Because of which it is right in the middle. First it's non-living, and as soon as it gets a host body, it is living. So it's right in the middle, right? Understood? This point is understood. Next, when virus enters a host body, it becomes a living organism. Alright. This is the reason why virus is not counted as a microbe. Important. Why virus is not counted as a microbe? Why? Because it behaves like both living and non-living organism. Because even though it's so tiny, it behaves like microorganisms. Microorganisms are living, right? It sometimes behaves like non-living and then it behaves like living, right? So this is the reason why we do not categorize virus in microorganisms. Everything is clear till now. We'll give a quick summary. Microorganisms made up of two words, micro and organisms, extremely small living things. Also known as microbes, cannot be seen by our naked eye. Needed a device known as microscope to use to see these microbes, and also a magnifying glass can be used. 4 categories of microbes are algae, bacteria, fungus and protozoa. Algae is aquatic in nature, bacteria are both friendly and harmful. Fungus, example bread mold, and protozoa, example amoeba. Virus is not counted as a microbe because it behaves like both living and non-living thing. When it is in the atmosphere, it behaves like a non-living thing, just like dust. But as soon as it enters a host body, it starts reproducing and performs a human process, because of which it then becomes a living microorganism, because of which it behaves like both living and non-living organisms, because of which virus is not counted as a microbe. Clear? Crystal clear? Great job. Alright. So before I give you the questions that you have to solve, I am going to tell you one thing, that algae, as I told before, has chlorophyll, so because of which it performs photosynthesis as well. Okay, I told you algae only has chlorophyll, because I did not tell you it performs photosynthesis. It also performs photosynthesis. Okay, now these are your homework questions for the day. Answer them in the chat below, and I'm going to tell you the answers of these questions in the next video. Alright, first question: which device is Also, before you answer them, I just want to tell you that do not see from the book. All of these questions have been like answered already. I've already told you the answers of these in the explanation, so you guys should know this. Okay, so yeah. Okay, wait, I'll get this closer to you. Oops. All right. Which device is used to see microbes? Very easy. Give one example of protozoa. Very easy, I just discussed. What is the. Oh, sorry. What is I'm saying? Virus is the dash organism, largest, prettiest, smallest, or none of these. Virus is the dash organism, largest, prettiest, smallest, or none of these. Okay. Last question. Are bacteria only harmful for us? Yes, no, all of the above, or none of these. Answer them down below in the chat box, and I'll see you next time. Thank you guys. Bye. Stay safe, stay healthy, and keep watching my videos.